Welcome, I'm Casey Malone, your host for Homeplate. This program will showcase our area's food and cultural traditions. Local is important to the staff at Homeplate. We'll go into kitchens of locally owned and operated restaurants. Homeplate will visit local food manufacturers, and we'll go into the kitchens of Mahoning Valley residents who share our passion for food. We will visit local ethnic churches and organizations that keep their heritage alive by offering the traditional dishes of their culture. Here in the Mahoning Valley, we take our food seriously, but we have a lot of fun doing it. Homeplate will capture the spirit of local food and local people. I hope you enjoy our show. A Saturday tradition in the Mahoning Valley is lamb at the Palm Café, Steel Street on Youngstown's west side. Along with lamb, chicken and ham are grilled over an open flame. The food is usually ready at about noon, but you may want to get there a bit earlier to get your place in line and enjoy a few of your favorite libations. Is this John?
This is my son John. This
Hi.
is
Casey.
Nice to see you. He's a butcher, and that's my nephew, Dubic. He's a cook.
You're the cook, so you said, now who's going to do the cutting today? You've got to see the smokehouse with its custom European-style rotisserie. They only use cherry wood, which smokes the meats to perfection. It's all about indirect heat. George starts the fire at around 6 a.m. to have the food ready by noon. Beautiful. Now, how many pounds do you plan on every year or every weekend, George?
We do normally between 500-600 pound average every weekend. Sometimes we do 1,200 pound on holidays. And
how'd you do for Easter? How many hams?
for Easter, we do about 1,300 pound altogether. We do about 600 pound just a ham for Easter.
Your ham is the
Just a
absolute
Yes.
best ham in town.
Yeah, that's what we do now.
It is. Everybody goes to another place. No way. Yours is delicious.
It's pretty well known and they love it. They love this product because this is, like I said, it's very hard work. It's a European style, but people love it. They come from all over.
What time do you put these in? What time do you start smoking?
We put them normally about 8 o'clock on, but we are here by 6 o'clock. You got to start a fire first. Mm-hmm. Then the fire gone, and you got enough coal built, then you put the meat on it because you don't put the meat in a open fire. See, you got a fire. You see how the fire goes?
Yes.
You cook only with the heat. You don't cook with the
indirect heat.
Yeah, indirect heat. That's what you do.
All right, our first offering tonight is going to be the chicken. Now we can get lamb, pork, we can get ham, and chicken. And chicken's first one out. They've got, now what kind of sauce do you use to cut the meat?
We normally use a band saw. Just the butcher saw.
It's the butcher saw, it's the big one. Can that be used for wood and for those kind of...
No, this is professional, just the saw for cutting meat. No,
I always thought that you kind of just made like a wood saw.
No,
I didn't realize that was a butcher saw.
No, that's a butcher saw, and that's a saw, just special cut for cutting meat. That's what we use.
The meats are sold by the pound, accompanied by tomatoes, green onions, peppers, and of course, fresh bread. The chicken comes off the spit first.
Great, you know what I mean?
You can have some chicken with me.
Well, you want to try, try my chicken, you know what I mean? That's what I say, that's what you do.
You want to do your quality control.
Of course.
And the skin is so good. I know you really aren't supposed to eat the skin.
It's delicious.
Oh, it is delicious. What kind of seasoning do you use?
Well,
Is that a secret?
that's a secret recipe now.
I'll get it out of you later.
Yes, yes, you could have it, but
Give you a couple VOs.
see, everybody, yes, that worked out. But that's my own recipe. I put in the chicken and give a little bit of flavor with it, Yeah.
I mean, this is really a healthy meal because all you're eating is the meat, some vegetables, and you know what, a piece of bread or something. I mean, this is a delicious healthy meal. And there's no chemicals, none of these preservatives, none of this junk. And what time do people usually get here to start taking their numbers?
Well, they call me 7 o'clock in the morning. They call me even 2 days before.
Brian, my buddy's here, and he told me today, I'm number one. He says, well, when did you get here? I called on Thursday. So he already reserved it. He's the first one served when it comes out. If you need any help, you just let me know. I am a trained professional. I did used to work in the deli department at Kroger's. I was a meat slicer, thick cut bologna, chip chop ham, yeah, head cheese, you know, all the interesting things. Now, how long has your father been training you to cut the meat?
For about 3 years now. It's in high school. So just trying to help out.
Do you ever slip up to you?
I used to when I first started. Had a couple minor tragic accidents.
Do these gloves protect you from that?
Yeah. It gives me a little bit of a leeway. So.
George Dubic is proud of his Croatian heritage, and it shows. The Palm Cafe is a Youngstown institution and a family affair. George's son John has been working the bandsaw cutting meat for the last 3 years. I hear he's getting so good that he's training an apprentice. If you can't make it to the Palm Cafe, they will come to you. George caters on-site lamb roasts for golf outings, parties, and picnics. Of course, you can always phone ahead and place an order for pickup. That was really a rush. That is awesome. Woo.
How can you do it that thin?
My heart is beating. Okay, come on, George, sit down with me. I just, your son John has taught me the fine art of the bandsaw. So I cut some ham and I cut you some lamb. This is the ribeye. Now, what part of the lamb would you like me to get for you?
Of course, everybody likes the skin. This is perfect for me, right?
That is a perfect piece for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And a green onion maybe to help you along?
Yeah, for my...
I know you gotta have fresh bread for your customers. The integrity of the lamb is at stake. We must keep
That's right.
Okay, we got a piece for you.
Is that good big for you? Oh, you like the skin, huh?
I love the skin. I love it all.
That looks pretty very nice here.
Okay.
That looks very nice. A little bit chopped
Yeah,
inside.
like
A little bit chopped inside. That's beautiful.
see that? It's just like what you buy when you get like a rack of lamb. You know, this is the rack.
Got
And
it.
this is better than the stuff you'll find anywhere else. George only serves locally raised lamb, chicken, and pork from Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania farms. We here at Homeplate are all about locally owned and operated, so it's a bonus when it's locally raised. During the week, the Palm Cafe has a regular menu available with sandwiches and daily specials. But you've got to get here on Saturdays for the lamb, ham, and chicken. The Palm Cafe is open every Saturday except when it falls on Christmas Day. This ham, it is not too salty, it is moist, it is tender, it has good cherry wood smoke.
Pick in your hands.
Look at that, it's like melts in your mouth. And remember, during the holiday time, call Dubic, they get them for Easter, for Christmas, for all the big holidays.
You send 600, 700 pounds just the hams in one day.
Dining dining out doesn't have to be reserved for special occasions at the Manor in Austintown. With lunch starting at $4.95 and dinner starting at just $8.95, the Manor features homemade Italian cuisine, plus favorites like the jumbo haddock and mouth-watering steaks, prepared by executive chef Ron George and staff. Enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, or try a carafe of homemade sangria from our full bar, open nightly. The Manor can seat up to 100 guests for your next party or event in our banquet room. Enjoy great food and prices at the Manor, Route 46 and Kirk Road in Austintown.
This segment of Homeplate is Homeplate on a budget. We have compiled tasty, budget-friendly recipes to feed your family of 4 for $10 or under. Now, a lot of the ingredients that we won't include are staples that should be in every pantry. Spices like ground cinnamon, chili powder, black pepper, basil leaves, parsley, garlic powder, oregano, paprika, crushed red pepper, and a lot of times it's nice to use a granular salt, like a coarse sea salt or a kosher salt. These are good things to have on hand. I also like to use fresh garlic, but in a pinch, it's always good to have a jar of minced garlic. Other staples you would need, of course, would be eggs, milk, sugar, and flour. So we're going to start showing you some budget-friendly recipes to feed your family. The Homeplate price check recipe for this week is nutty escarole pasta. The ingredients you'll need are 6 ounces of feta cheese, the grated zest from 1 lemon, a pound of fusilli pasta, 1 head of escarole coarsely chopped, half cup of toasted walnuts, 6 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 4 cloves of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, and salt. For the complete recipe, visit metrohomeplate.net. Always look for ingredients that are on sale and make sure you incorporate those into your recipes. That's another money-saving tip. So all the ingredients for our nutty escarole pasta came to $7.07. That was the feta cheese, the rotini pasta, the walnuts, the escarole, and the lemon. Now the other ingredients that it calls for, like the crushed red pepper seed and the garlic and the olive oil, that's already in your pantry. If you'd like to get this recipe, just go to metrohomeplate.net. So welcome to our segment, Homeplate at Home. And I want to thank Joe Lucente and his sister Sherry McDermott for extending their hospitality to make a favorite Easter dish, which would be their mother's recipe, Judy's Easter bread. There's a lot of different versions with the Eastern Europeans and with the Greeks, but I think Judy's Italian Easter bread recipe is absolutely delicious. It's been handed down from their family, and they are going to pass it along to us today.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to combine the milk, the sugar, the salt, the margarine, and the raisins in a pan, and we're going to saute that to just a slow simmer. While your milk mixture is cooling on the stove, you want to take the zest of 2 lemons and 2 oranges and the juice. You can use a grater like we're using here, or you can use a microplane to get the zest.
And before you juice that lemon, don't forget to roll it against the counter to make sure you get maximum juice.
Once you take the cool mixture from the stove, you put it into your bowl to be mixed. You want to make sure that the temperature is less than 115 degrees. If it's more than 115 degrees, you'll kill the yeast or you'll cook the eggs. Don't forget to put your eggs in. And then just a couple drops of yellow food coloring.
Why food coloring?
Well, food coloring makes the bread a little bit more yellow and it gives a little bit more festive Easter spirit to it. The last ingredient that we put in is obviously our flour to mix it up. Now the recipe says anywhere from 6 to 8. It can be up to 10 cups depending on how much juice you got out of your lemons and your oranges and how big the eggs were. So what we'll do is we'll put all this in and we'll start mixing up and we'll see if we need to add more flour or not. As you're starting to mix the dough, you want to make sure you take the flour and scrape it down just to keep it going. Pretty much once the dough gets to the point where you can take it off of the hook without it sticking to your hands, you can then take it out and then finish kneading it by hand on your palette. So you just want to spread the dough out a little bit. Just give it a light little dusting on the top, a light little dusting on the bottom, and then from there you just want to make sure you knead it by hand. Once you knead it by hand, you want to take it until it'll start to get a little bit more wet, but once it doesn't get real sticky in your hands, you'll know it's done. Casey, basically what we're looking for is we want it to be a little bit wet, but it doesn't stick to your hands. When you drop it down, it's not going to stick to the counter. That's a pretty good consistency right there. Then all we want to do is take and put a little bit of oil on it. And because while it's rising, we don't want it to dry out. Just cover it with a little bit of oil.
Do you use olive oil?
Yeah, usually. Put it in your bowl and then cover it, and then you got to put it away to let it rise. Once the dough's rising, you want to make sure it rises one time, usually about 40-45 minutes. You want to take it out, punch it down, and let it rise again. After it rises for the second time, when it comes out, it kind of looks like this. It's pretty much doubled in size. You go ahead and take it out. And then you want to go ahead and you want to cut it down into your loaves. This is the dough here is enough for 2 loaves. So I'll just cut it right in half. You want to use a really sharp knife for this to get through the dough. Now that you have your 2 loaves, you want to, in order to do the braiding, you want to cut it in half twice. So cut that in half, and then that one in half. You go ahead and set one loaf aside, and then you take the first half. You just want to roll it out. You'll feel it under your hands. It's like it's kind of stringy. You can feel it's pretty airy. You want to roll it out to about the length of your loaf, and you got to allow for it to shrink down a little bit. So about that for the first one. Then you roll your second one out. Then once both of these ropes are about equal size, you go ahead and you take it and you just pinch the first end, pinch it down, and then you just rope it over top of each other. Now you don't have to be gentle with it. You can do it until it's done, and then you can shape it when you put it on your tray. Sis, you want to grab me the pan? Once you have it rolled down to the other end, you pinch it off too. You can squeeze the loaf to whatever size you want it, and then you put it on your baking dish.
Do you want that pan greased?
Exactly. Make sure that your pan is greased just lightly. I use Crisco. Okay, after your oven has preheated about 325 and your loaves have raised a little bit, you want to go ahead and you want to put them in. You want to cook them on 325 for about 45 minutes. After about a half hour of cooking, you want to take it out and you want to do your egg wash over the whole loaf.
Do you use a yolk in your egg wash?
No, I just use egg whites and a little bit of salt and beat that up.
Why salt?
Salt breaks the egg up a little bit so it's not real thick when you're putting it on. It makes it a little bit thinner and easier to spread. When you're done egg washing it, you let it cook for about another 15 minutes. Once it's nice and brown, you can go ahead and you can take it out of the oven.
I am dying to taste this, Joey.
While you guys are tasting, I'm going to cut myself a little piece too.
Your mother would be proud. It is delicious.
It tastes just like Mommy's.
You know,
think
Joey,
so?
I thought you were a lot more involved in this process.
Usually I am, but in Joe's kitchen, the only thing I'm allowed to do is wash the dishes.
You can do the zesting every once in a while.
Thanks.
This is so delicious. I don't know why we only make it once a year for Easter.
Casey, I tell you what, my wife Vicky says the same thing. And after a couple days, if it's sat around a little bit, it makes really good French toast for the kids. They love it.
I like it toasted the next day also.
Well, any time of year, you're going to be able to find this recipe if you go to our website, metrohomeplate.net. And I do want to thank you for extending your hospitality, Sherry and Joe. And we are going to be back in the Lucente kitchen for more Home Plate at Home.
Scachetti's Italian Steakhouse, the Mahoning Valley's premier destination for dining and nightlife. Scachetti's features signature steaks, chops, and the freshest collection of seafood cuisine. Discover Scachetti's, where great food and service doesn't come at a price. Now accepting reservations for parties of 25 to 100. Call 330-629-8100. Scachetti's, now open daily for lunch. Route 224, Boardman.
Italian food is well represented in the Mahoning Valley. Restaurants, churches, and festivals all have wonderful Italian dishes. The key to great Italian food is the ingredients. Jimmy's Italian Specialties on Belmont Avenue in Liberty has everything you need. Imported cheeses, olives, tomatoes, spices, olive oil, vinegar, pastas, and an in-house bakery with artisan breads, authentic Italian pastries, cakes, and cookies. Over 25 years ago, Jimmy and Irene Okabova opened Jimmy's. Homeplate spent some time with their son Frank to discuss the family business. Now, you gave me some of this great bread, which I think is probably the best bread in town.
Thank you very
Now,
much.
this is your old-fashioned, old-world style,
Exactly.
and it is this a secret family recipe?
This is a very secret family recipe.
Because it has put you on the map. I mean, and it goes quickly. Is there any,
It goes,
here, the
I
old-fashioned.
have a few left.
You have so many olives. What is the top seller here?
Our top seller, I would say, is definitely the Castelveltrano, which I'm going to let you try one out. They're so yummy.
Now-
They're nice and mild, nice and meaty. And these actually come from Castelveltrano Mountains in Sicily. These are Sicilian olives. They're very good.
Thank you. Now, why do they retain that bright green color? I mean, because usually they're the more muted tones.
Right.
How come they stay so bright?
They always keep them under the brine, and they try not to get them exposure to light. Like when I receive them, they're always encased in something besides the barrel or the bucket that I get them in.
You know, one of the best features at Jimmy's, Italian specialty stores is all the different imported ingredients that you have that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
And the price point on all these olive oils is so different. You know, there's the Sicilian extra virgin olive oil, then there's extra virgin, and then, the Burrito Colavita. What is the difference, really? I mean, what is that makes one so much more expensive than the other?
Well,
and they're extra virgins.
Right. Between the olive oils themselves, just like a good wine, you want good grapes. The same thing with olive oil, you want a good olive. And like I was telling you with the olives over there, those Castelveltrano olives.
Yes.
Well, we happen to have this olive oil here. This is
And it's made from those olives.
It's made from those olives, which is our #1 seller of olive oil, of extra virgin olive oil. This company only makes an extra virgin olive oil that they brand with their name, and the rest of the oil that comes from their olives goes to another completely different company.
And what would the difference between a Sicilian olive oil be between just a regular Italian olive oil?
It's the region where the olives are from. Sicilian olive oils tend to be more light and more airy, while some of the other ones, which might still be called Italian, are blended with maybe a Turkish olive or a Greek olive. But they're all very good, but they're a little more heavy. So you would use them for different reasons.
Now, that was just what I was going to say. Now, on the extra virgin olive oil, they say that is the best for salads, dressings, because you're going to be eating it whole, not cooked.
The extra virgins you want to definitely use as a fresh.
As butter on the table. That's what you'd be pouring into the dish.
You want it to be a fresh condiment.
So you would recommend just regular olive oil for cooking purposes?
Definitely. Olive oil is probably the best for light pan frying.
And what is pumice? I've seen that, and I'm not familiar with it.
Pumice oil it's a good olive oil, but it's the last pressing of the olive. It's the very, very last pressing of the olive, just like the extra virgin would be the very first pressing. The pumice is the last bit that they get out of their olive.
So what would be its best use?
For canning, most people use that just for canning.
Jimmy's in-house pasta is a huge seller. Made fresh daily, any size, any type is available, from pastina to lasagna. Frank likes the capellini.
We can make anything you want, from the smallest of pastina for your, baby soup, to, shells. We do, I love using these when you make macaroni and cheese.
The cavatelles.
I love
your favorite?
I love these.
Well, if you love them, then I love them.
You get
too.
some fontina cheese, a little bit of fontanella, melt it up, and you throw it on there, and you're set.
Now, when you make your pasta at home, what is your favorite noodle? Are you a spaghetti, or do you like a penne or sewer pipe?
My favorite is definitely the capellini, which is the angel hair.
Yes.
I love it, and maybe because it cooks very fast, but that's a meal that you could have. And I love it aglio olio, which is the garlic and olive oil, which is the fastest thing you can do. You just throw olive oil and
Is
garlic.
that your favorite?
That's my favorite.
Is that your favorite dish?
And you boil water, you throw the capellini in for a minute or two, and bam, and at the most 10 minutes you have a meal. So not only is it something that most people think they can't do,
and it's the easiest.
The easiest.
And that's your favorite, because you probably get tired of cooking all day.
We're up here cooking all day, so when you go home, you want something nice and fast, but good at the same time. So I'm grabbing a little bit of our homemade pasta.
And then a glass of old wine Zinfandel.
And some old wine.
You're fine to
You're good for the rest of the night.
The deli case at Jimmy's is incredible. There's a huge variety of meats, cheeses, olives, roasted or hot peppers, and other delicacies, all available by the pound. My favorite is the lupini bean. Very, very heavy salt.
Right.
And I think when you make them yourself and cure them yourself, you don't have that.
No, yeah, definitely we don't. They're not very salty, and they're actually simple to make. What we do is, as a basic rule of thumb, for every pound that you're soaking, or that you're making, you boil it first for half an hour for every pound. So if you have 2 pounds, you boil it for an hour.
So that's the secret.
That's
because
a little
if you get
secret.
them out of the jar and that, they never seem to be able to get rid of that salty taste.
Yeah, not only salty, the toughness of it.
Would you display the proper way to pop a lupini bean?
Oh gosh, of course.
Of course. Now there is a proper way to eat these, because a lot of people will eat them and pop them in their mouth whole.
Oh,
and you can, but that kind of makes it a little tough.
Yeah, it's a little bitter.
You've got to make sure you leave the skins alone. Now you show me the proper technique, because a lot of times I miss.
You hold it like this.
Okay.
Kind of.
So you hold it on the edge.
I hold it on the edge.
Okay.
So it wants to come out the other edge.
Can I have another lupini bean, please?
You got it. And they're always a lot of fun.
They're always good at Christmas time. That's about the only time I really eat them. There you go. They are outstanding. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed our show. We have only begun to scratch the surface of the amazing people and places that make the Mahoning Valley such a delicious place to live. If you would like to sponsor or advertise on Homeplate, please contact us at metrohomeplate.net. I'm Casey Malone. See you next week for our next edition of Homeplate.